Taha here with my brother E, and we're doing a review on this Art Captain plasma cutter that I bought off of Amazon. It's $180, it was on sale, so we'll give it a shot. I wish this was more of a, they sent it out, kind of what we were doing with CFSP, where they were like, hey, we'll give you this to review, just make a video about it. I wish that's what this was, but I paid my own money for this, so that means I can dog on them all I want. I'm just kidding. I give honest feedback, whether they send me the product or not. Up close and personal real quick. Is on the back here, it's a barbed fitting with the hose instead of just a quick disconnect, and it came with 2 hose clamps. Was there another fitting on for this or no? I don't believe there was.
Nope.
So you gotta have your own barbed fitting for this other side of the hose. That's kind of annoying. Might just see if we can unscrew that and put a quick disconnect on there.
We got welding torch accessories, some little tips here, as well as a nut, and then this is the actual cutting torch head. Pretty good head here. This unscrews with the tip. You've got a nice safety and trigger here. You've got a nice rubberized sheathing here. Covers both cables as they go through. Here at the other end, you've got your air hose and your fitting there. 2-pin adapter plug into the machine. Right here, it's got a standard welder 220 plug, as well as the 220 to 110 adapter.
I'm hooking up the little brass fitting for the torch that the air runs through, and then the little power. Does that look like you can remove that
I don't know.
fitting?
Maybe.
All right, so Ethan's doing a little bit of a rig here because we don't have any barbed fittings that would fit on this end. I don't know why they would send you just this hose, make it barbed and not give you the other end. So we put just a regular connector, male, that's threaded, then put a female connector, or thread end female to the male connector. If that makes any sense.
This should come with a quick disconnect. No one is using a bare air hose anymore.
All right, so minus points on that. Ground power right there, and then here's your little brass fitting. Runs the air through there. You got a small screen and a singular dial. 2 buttons here, operation mode and preferences. Regulator, here's your fan, back down here. And then the on off, and then this is where they should have just put the quick disconnect. Turn this thing on. Sometimes they don't turn on if there's no air pressure.
So first thing to consider about these clamps is these are on the smaller end of size-wise, where you will not be able to fit this onto a welding table unless it's got a real thin piece of sheet metal. We just got a piece of scrap.
But we'll set the pressure on this. I can't remember. ChatGPT, ladies and gentlemen. 60 to 75 PSI. Sometimes these plasma cutters, what they'll do is they'll have a set mode. I mean, it's basically a button, you press it, and then it just flows air, so you can set your pressure. Some do that, some don't do that. Other ones, you just press the trigger and you just set it that way. So let's kind of dig in here and see. So operation mode, 2T, 4T. Also, it tells you it's on 220 up there. 2T, 4T. Preferences, all you got is current and post gas. So you can change that, current, change that, 50 amp max, 20 amp minimum. We'll start somewhere in the middle at 30. We'll do 2T. Oh, we got a leak. Where's it leaking from? That might be too much pressure. How much are we putting out at the,
Like over 100.
so leaky. Whatever, we'll figure that out later. Let's just get this thing cut. I'm gonna go push to lock. Shit. That's not supposed to happen. Okay, so it was already unlocked. That's unlocked, that's locked. Alright. It's leaking.
Again?
It's leaking. It's whatever, we'll fix it later.
Start it.
Oh yeah. That was on 30 amps. I turned you up a little bit. Check pressure real quick. This is a 20-gallon tank. We're running about 100 out. Wow.
It does real well in terms of control, and it's a very tight area in which you can cut.
You can hear the air compressor dip a bit when this thing cranks up. Look at that. So it's holding steady at 65.
Very easy to use, very easy to point. Tip, I mean, barely anything. So, still holding solid.
Man, look at that.
I think it's good, yeah, quite enjoyable. I think there's a little bit you can do in terms of playing around with the speed and the air pressure to give you the best result. Here, it's running a little hot, and so you can move pretty quick. I feel like I can go through much thicker material than what I've got here. This is just 1/8 inch, and so we'll put it to the test on some larger stuff.
We're at about 70 PSI now.
I think
That's
that
pretty
works.
good.
Let's try it on this 1/2 inch plate. So this 1/2 inch plate, quite a bit thicker. I'll take it a little bit more slow. We've cranked the power up all the way to 50 amps. We're running it off 220, and so this is about the best chance we can give it. Oh wow.
Yeah.
That works very easily. If anything, I probably took it a little slow. Let's try it a little faster.
I'm impressed.
I cut through it like no business. You can see there's a lot of spalling, and so you want to make sure protect any surface under, as always. I'm cutting at a little bit of an angle here, but if you need to cut through something thick, it does the job. I'm pretty impressed. And that's 1/2 inch plate. If you're running that on a bandsaw or an angle grinder, it's going to take you quite a bit more time. And so let's just run through one more cut real quick. It has a little bit of trouble starting flat, and so if you start it at just a bit of an angle and then move it to flat, you can get a nice straight even cut just like there.
I'm gonna do 32 on this one. This thing cuts pretty good. I was not smooth on that one, but throwing it back. Check me out. 32 amps at about 70 PSI, and I would say, I think that's pretty good. I don't know if you see that on camera, but I mean, look at this one. That one's clean too. Clean all the way across. All right, I'm gonna do a little bit of half inch. We're going back up to 50, maxing it out. Still at 70. Up a little bit that time. Let me try even six. Dude, this thing cuts it like nothing. That's crazy. You just have to get the start and then it just pops it down. Fans on. I'm gonna go ahead and just shut it on. Takes about 5-10 seconds to shut off. All right, Captain, we got a couple of things of advice for you.
Performance is good. That's the thing that matters the most.
I mean, these cuts.
It cuts well. It cuts fast.
See. These two cuts, this, what'd you say this was? 1/8 inch?
Yep, 1/8 inch plate. I mean, versus an angle grinder, a bandsaw, even a metal cutting saw, the plasma cutter is faster, it's more precise, and it gives you many more options in terms of like compound curves, holes, interior corners. You have a lot more freedom to cut with the head of this versus an entire saw or even an angle grinder disc. And so it even beats something smaller like a die grinder just because it's going to be faster and easier to use.
That was with, you know, just, we've been messing with it maybe 30 minutes or so. But what blew me away was the 1/2 inch. I know this ain't the best looking cuts, but we also don't want to waste. This stuff is pretty expensive.
And it's not something that we took the time to take it slow and make a clean cut. I mean, that took a couple seconds. And so if you could imagine the time that it'd take with a hacksaw, an angle grinder even, it'd be a lot longer than with the plasma.
What if you got a 1/8 inch sheet, you know, 4x4 sheet or 4x8, and you're like, hey, I need to cut it in half. Line up some sort of straight edge, just drag it. You'd be done in like 30 seconds.
We've been using a metal cutting saw, almost like a wood cutting track saw with a metal cutting blade. They make ones that are designed to cut metal. However, one of those is just as expensive as one of these, and it goes through more blades, takes longer to cut things. This has the hassle of sparks, and so if you're cutting on the inside of something, maybe you have to take another option, but this is faster, easier, and quicker to use.
We might have to do a head-to-head between a grinder, a plasma cutter, and then your metal cutting saw.
The only real downside of something like this is the hose, hose clamps, setting things up. The hose clamps are
garbage.
Yeah, the hose is braided, but I think a better quality hose would be beneficial. And then the fact that it doesn't come with a barb fitting is just one of those extra pieces in which you might unbox this and realize I gotta now run to the store for an extra piece that should be included in the box from the start.
This was the rig that we used. Look at this. Look at this thing. This is supposed to be quick disconnect. It worked. Surprisingly, it didn't even leak from here. It leaked from the barb fitting on the back of the regulator.
And I think some of that is just due to the hose clamps. They're not very wide. I wouldn't trust these in the long run. This would probably be the first piece that I replace. However, in terms of all the other pieces, they seem like they're really built well. The rubber for the hoses is, I mean, it's like a thick vinyl. It's pretty durable. Something that you could rip, but also something later on in the line, if you needed to cover it with another hose cover, you could easily enough, but I don't think you'd need to.
Yeah, I'd say the main thing for our captain, if they do see this, or if y'all are watching this thinking about buying this, first thing we're gonna figure out is change that barb fitting over to a quick disconnect. If we can just break it off right here, loosen it up at the regulator, just put a quick disconnect. I just didn't want to mess with it because it's like, hey, if I do it and snaps the regulator in half because it's Chinese, then we can't even test this thing today. So I was like, all right, we'll just mess with it how it is. unbox it, test it, whatever it comes with. And we did that, but first thing, definitely figure out air compressor setup. Other than that, I mean, for $180, I would definitely buy this thing again, just from what it did today. But the long term, we'll be putting it up to the test.
Definitely. I think
That's the
long
main
term,
thing.
you know, there's some
yeah.
upgrades that can be made, like to the clamp. There's a lot of places on the actual machine, like there's strap points here, which we're not going to use, but you could find a good place to maybe take this handle off and upgrade it with a metal one, or have a place to hang your hose if you weren't putting on a welding cart. I'm sure you could add something to the outside, bolt it in either through the top or the sides. However, I think it'll be a good machine in the long run, and it's one that can really grow with you as you're cutting, just because it's got the capacity to cut thin and thick, unlike some other plasma cutters which can't cut through any kind of thick material, and later on you'll wish that you bought a bigger one.
Oh yeah, you want to plug your thing, Ethan, for the metalworking?
I teach a metalworking shop class, and
Here,
so
stand in the middle. Stand in the
yeah,
middle.
I've got a bunch of lovely teenagers who are learning how to weld. We're welding with, you know, limited budget, limited funds, limited equipment. However, they've done a lot of really great work in terms of working hard with what they have. And so if you've ever liked to send anything out to us, those kids would really appreciate it.
He does a lot for that school, and he does a lot for the kids too. So we're trying to get more equipment here and there, because a lot of it actually does come out of Ethan's budget. The school does give him some budget, but then it's like, all right, you're gonna get the funds, do all that stuff. But luckily, we've been able to get 2 welders from CFSP. That was really nice of them to send us those welders out. And then, you know, we've kind of got a couple other cheap welders. The school bought some of the welders. Ethan just has some of his own welders that he lets them use. So yeah, we're just looking for, I mean, whatever it is, any welding equipment or machines or anything like that, we can do a review on it, and then they can use it at the school. The kids can use it at the school. So it goes to a good cause. So you can just send me an email. My email's down there if you want to get in touch. You know, I know Ethan would really appreciate that, and the kids would at the school for sure. But overall, I think this is going to be a good little plasma cutter for the price. You can't beat it. That's all we got on this one so far. We'll update you on when we fix this quick disconnect thing, and then maybe throw it on a cart and start cutting a lot more material with it, just so that we know, all right, it's just a quick and dirty like we like to do, and then we can update y'all later. All right, guys, thanks for watching this video. I'm Bataha. That's my brother E. We'll see y'all in the next one.